Hey BoLS fans, this is AdamHarry with another Retro Corner review from BoLS. Today I have the third part of the Warhammer Mass Combat Fantasy Role-Playing Game review. Today we're going to go over the character book, which is kind of a hybrid of the, it would be equivalent to like a PHB or DM guide, character generation, all that fun stuff all rolled into one book. So let me go ahead and crack this open. So the book itself is about 34 pages, all black and white. Again, 80s printing technology. It's got this guy that reminds me of Skeletor on the front. Big Red and I were talking about it before. He thinks it's an orc. I think it's a ode to Skeletor, but I think he's probably right about it being an orc. So yeah, just black and white. So yeah, let's crack it open. There's the table of contents. Again, copyright 1983. So this book's older than me. So let's go ahead and get in here. So introduction, again, this book actually has an adventure in the back. It's got more character background stuff, more character generation, a little bit more about the world itself. So, but it really goes into almost a lot of books now, a lot of systems now have their own DM guide. This is kind of what this section is. It's for the game master to kind of go over, hey, this is what we're talking about when we say player, this is how this combat's supposed to work, or this is how the game's supposed to work. It's supposed to be GM, running the game, setting everything up, putting the players in place, and then let the players go, and then kind of ad-libbing from there. So, again, super sweet artwork as well. So yeah, player characters goes over player character creation and setup from there, and then of course skills. And GW loves their charts. And to read off some of these, you got a trapper, tracker, trader, sailor, mate, navigator, captain, which they're all kind of the same. Captain obviously is, I have a boat, but forager, conman, pickpocket. Conman, by the way, increases his cool by 3, so I'm sure everybody wanted to be that. Pharmacist, actor, minstrel, and then a couple other ones here. Fisherman, nomad, armorer, the woodsman, stuff like that. There's a jeweler as well, so cool stuff. Those are the different skills. I believe you rolled for 2 skills, so you could be a sailor with some trapping skills, or kind of depending on what character you want to play too, and that was kind of assigned by the character gen with the DM, kind of go over your concept and then roll on the chart. So in this section, they went over the sample character, kind of right here. It's listed off as a social status, which is right here. It's a D100 chart. You get to find out basically your social status, where you would land if you were a human, dwarf, elf. You each had different options there. You'd roll also for your generating your race if you wanted to there. So each race had different stats, which we'll get into a little bit later. Just mostly all dice rolls. You just had modifiers to your dice rolls. For example, in the age section here, humans got to roll 66 plus 6 for their age. Dwarves added D10, 10d6, excuse me, plus 20, and elves rolled 3d6 plus 20. So I think dwarves were supposed to be the long-lived kind of ancient race, and the elves are also old, but not quite as old as dwarves. So the number of wounds, which I'll get into also later, everybody starts off with 1 wound, and then we'll get into the injury chart later. When you get more wounds, you stay longer in combat, but if you lose all your wounds, that's when bad stuff happens. For initiative, right here, races roll a d4. Humans add 1, elves add 3, so they're the fast ones. Dwarves, again, no love there. You're slow, apparently. Weapon skill, bow skill, you kind of picked when you started off whether you want to be a swordsman or a bowman. And it kind of gives recommendations that elves would be bowmen and dwarves and humans more swordsmen. So, cool stuff there. Strength modifier, or roll here, 1, men and elves, and then it's kind of a D3 system. Dwarves could actually get up to 3, so pretty cool there. Yeah, next page over. Wanted to point this out, that cool stat. I don't know what exactly did. I'm sure it had something to do with, how hot-headed you were in combat, but no love for the dwarves here. Roll 2d6 for your cool stat, dwarves subtract 2. So even back then, 1983, GW just didn't think dwarves were that cool. Womp, womp, womp. Sorry, dwarf players. Over here, money and stuff like that, you roll that again based on your social status, kind of determine how much money, your starting money or your income. So it's pretty cool stuff there. And again, the toughness chart, I believe I went over the first one. It's rated on a A through E kind of setup. Men and elves, typically B's or C's in toughness. Dwarves were had a better chance to be tougher, to be a C class. That's basically equivalent to tough 4. If you looked at the chart. So C is about a 4 and a B is about a 3. So pretty typical stuff. very much you can see the early roots of Warhammer Fantasy in these books. And then we get to the character advancement table. Yeah, this is all experience points. This game is unique. I was reading through some of this other stuff too. The way characters advanced was also based on your alignment, which had an impact. If you were a good character and you did good things, you got bonus points. If you were a hungry character and you ate stuff, you got 4 times as many points, which I'll point that out in a second. I'm not making that up. But you had different stuff here for fighting, like if you're a fighter, experience points. Capturing an enemy was actually double points. Surviving an adventure mission was 1d3 times 10. Killing an enemy hero or leader was 1d6 XP. Per 10 gold pieces acquired was 1 point. If you're a greedy character, you actually got a bonus. For each point of gold that you got a XP bonus, but you didn't get XP normally. So they had their own little unique alignment chart too. And then you see the requirements here for leveling up. It's 50 points for first level, 100 points, then 150, then 200, and then 300, 500, 750, 1,000, 1,250, and 1,500. So pretty big chunks there at the end to go up. For wizards, you actually almost triple that, because that's going to go up, or double that, because you're going to go to 3,000 at the end there. So wizards had a much longer advancement progression, but that's because they're dropping bombs on people. So as you leveled up too, you actually could advance stuff. This one is like may advance your initiative, so you get a little faster if you're level 1. This is cool here at like level 4 or 5. You can advance any number of the advances above, so you can advance your initiative again, secondary combat skill, your primary combat skill. So kind of unique way to do the level ups. And then they go through number of attacks, number of wounds, initiative, all that fun stuff here at the bottom as well. So maximum levels, that's what that was for. So, and again, this is the alignment chart I was talking about. It's pretty funny. There's good, neutral, evil, avarice, and hunger, and I wasn't making that up. Hunger alignment is common amongst the less intelligent monster types. Hunger aligned creatures have only one interest in life, and that is food. Characters with a hungry alignment are rarely encountered and are easily recognizable because of their great obesity. Sounds kind of familiar there, like ogres or something. Food-oriented characters receive quadruple bonus for slain opponents that they eat. So that's right, if you were a hungry character and you came across some bad guys, or if you're the bad guy, I guess, and you came across some good guys and you beat them in combat and ate them, you got 4 times the bonus. It's pretty crazy. For avarice, for greedy characters, they receive no experience points for acts of courage, bravery, or self-sacrifice. They receive double points, though, for any money they acquire. So, had some benefits to being greedy. But I know some people like that, but I wouldn't want to party with them. So, anyway... they also have a random encounters table here, and kind of goes over, not random encounters, excuse me, randomly generated alignments for different type of characters and stuff like that, or different encounters. So typical stuff there: scorpions, were-rats, giant frog. Remember that one from the last review, or the previous reviews. Gold dragon, stuff like that. Trolls. Trolls are just bound to be evil, looks like. So trolls 1 to 50, and then it goes up from neutral to greedy to hungry. I could see trolls being hungry. So, moving on, we've got some injuries. This table reminds me a lot of the table from, what is that game? Blood Bowl or Necromunda, or any of those type of games, the skirmish games that GW used to do. It's pretty straightforward. You roll a percentile dice, or I guess D6 or 2D6s. Yeah. Well, it's 4D6, so you add the total up. So however that works out. Math guy's going to correct me on that. So anyway, you roll on the chart. You figure out how much damage you did, or what happened. So say you had 2 wounds. You lost 1 wound in previous combat, and you're fighting, and you get knocked out. You go down for a number of rounds, which is how that works. Then you roll on this chart, and I believe it's going to be an example over here. It rolls on it's a D100. That's right. So it's pretty bad. If you get knocked completely out, you've got a 40% chance of it being a light injury, which is up here, and then you've got a 60% chance of it being pretty bad. So on a 70 plus, it was permanent and you died. But yeah, basically how it worked, to say you got a light injury to your left arm, you're out of action for 5d6 turns. It takes a week to heal. You may not use a shield, bow, or two-handed weapon, and the risk of death was 5%. You'd roll on that chart after your recover time your out of action turns, you roll on that to find out if you actually died. So yeah, pretty harsh. Like I said, 40% chance of losing something, hopefully that you can recover, and then 60+% chance of not getting back up at all. So pretty bad. And the example here I read through before, it's very helpful. So it explains all that combat fun stuff. So creating adventures. In this section, one of the first things that caught my eye is it kind of goes over the GM, how to create adventures and stuff like that. One of the things that I want to point out too is it says to rescue a lovely Italian princess. I want you to remember that for later. GW had a thing for that. So, but it kind of goes over, hey, why would these adventures just run around? Because running around stabbing stuff could get boring after a while. I don't know what they're talking about personally, but no, it's a good reason. It's just, again, this is part of that DM, the DM section to kind of, in modern books, it's like the Dungeon Master Guide. This whole book, that would be a whole book, but now they cover it in like 3 or 4 pages, so it's kind of funny. But it goes over cost of equipment, how to run a campaign, or how to set up, get started, and really quickly kind of throws you to the wolves in that regard. But and then also some jobs, how much money you'd make in that doing those jobs and stuff like that. Encounter charts, random encounters. They have a funny example here of an evil party that just got done killing an elf king and running into 6 elves, and it's pretty funny because at the end they're like, "Where'd you find that head? Where'd you get that head from?" And they're like, "We found it." Because that's totally believable, right? Yeah, I'd let them go. So this is what I want to point out here. This is another random encounter chart. It's on a D100 again. It says on a roll of 97, 98, or 99, they should be taken as specials encounters. What exactly is that? What exactly are those? It's kind of up to the GM. You can make it up. Typical examples could be exceptionally rare creatures, other bands of adventurers, demented old women shrieking prophecies. That's cool, I guess. Wealthy travelers, yeah, or Italian vacuum salesman. Italian vacuum. I don't know. So GW had a thing for Italian princesses and vacuums. There you go. So yeah, different areas you'd find stuff: woodlands, ice wastes, mountains, coast. This one is about subterranean stuff. Obviously, this stuff is going to be worse than this stuff because you're underground and nothing good ever happens there. Table 3, more stuff, more cool art, fun stuff. Moving on. Oh, this is the enchanted item stuff that you could find. They suggest making the adventure be about those, but finding them randomly and sparsely, so you don't really want to sprinkle those too much. This is the adventure parts that was included as well. It's kind of funny because it's got the section of stuff the players should know. Here's a quick map. They recommend that the players get to sketch this real quickly, but don't give it to them outright. And then they also have a section of what the players should not know. It kind of goes over there. Basically, the rundown is there's some bad stuff happening in this area. There's some orc raiders up here and down here, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. I don't want to spoil it for you because you don't want to have spoilers for a 30-year-old book or anything. So, but yeah, it's a fun little adventure. It's kind of cool. They have different encounters and stats and stuff. How to roll it up real fast. So. Also a tower that you're probably going to run into at some point, and another map of cave complex that you're going to run into. So there you go, another camp thing. So again, last thing I wanted to point out in this review was they do a Citadel model figure suitable for use with this adventure. I wanted to point this out. I thought this was interesting. This section, the elves come from Raoul Partha's Wood Elf range. So they kind of contracted out in the 80s to other model manufacturers. It wasn't all Citadel miniatures. So I thought that was kind of cool, like, hey, they're not so, hardline. Ken back in the 80s probably didn't have some of the manufacturing they do now. So anyway, that's my review of the character book for Warhammer Mass Combat Fantasy Role-Playing Game. And again, this is another BoLS Retro Corner review from AdamHarry. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and throw us a like, subscribe, join in the comment section, let us know what you think, let us know what else you want to see. I do check those periodically, so hit me up in the lounge as well, at the BoLS Lounge. I do frequent that area quite a bit. So again, this is AdamHarry for BoLS. Have a good one.